Britain's Conversation with Anna Soubry.
Good morning. Well, some stuff happened yesterday. It was a crazy day in many ways. It was also a very important day. I left the Conservative Party. Now, it takes, if I may say, it's a bit of a wrench to leave your political party. It was a bit emotional, bit scary. Not as scary as presenting this brilliant programme. I am looking forward, please, to taking your calls. The number to ring, 0345 6060 973. I'm Anna Soubry. I left the Tory party yesterday, but did I do the right thing? That is what I'm wanting you to call in and tell me about. Did the rebels do the right thing by leaving the Tory party, or should we have stayed? What about your MP? Should he or she now leave their party? Because we saw a whole bunch of Labour people leaving the Labour Party on Monday. What about Lib Dems? And of course, I'd love to speak to anybody from Broxtowe or in that area of Nottinghamshire. I have to say, one of the finest places in the country. But seriously, this is a big moment in British politics. And it's all right hearing from people like me and other members now of this new independent group. But what do you think? 0345 6060 973. That is the number to call. And were we right to go? That is the big question, and I'm looking forward to all your calls. So, can we take a call? No. And somebody says, just this, I have to say, is my dream job in many ways, actually being on the radio. It's the finest medium that's going. Why is it so good? Because it's so intimate. And one of the things about a great show like this is, of course, you get to have your say. That's why we want to hear from you, and that's why we want your calls. And we will be talking, I'm sure, at some stage about Brexit, because that's actually the biggest political issue at the moment. It's absolutely underlying everything that's happening in British politics. Frankly, I think it was the final straw for us Tory rebels, the three of us, myself, my good friends Heidi Allen, Sarah Wollaston, who yesterday, all of us left the Conservative Party. It's not gone without comment. So far, my email inbox, I have to tell you, thousands, I think it is at the moment, of emails overwhelmingly in support, and that is from constituents. But were we right, or should we have stayed in the Tory party, kept on fighting, kept on doing that? That is the big question. The number 0345 6060 973. We are standing by, waiting for your calls. So let's go. I think we've got a great call coming in now, and it's from Sean.
Hi, Anna.
Good morning. Where are you calling from? Horsham.
I'm calling from Horsham in Sussex.
Oh, right.
I support what you're doing.
Do you?
In terms of leading the Conservatives. But I'm interested to know how your potential shift away from the Conservatives might change the way you vote in future on matters such as education or universal credit, or, for example, Corbyn's Labour put a bill through for investigation into tax avoidance in 2016, and the whip was for Conservatives to vote against that bill. My concern mostly at the moment is education.
Right.
3 years in a row, we've had 2,000 head teachers march to Downing Street on education. But the backdrop against that is that schools are being forced to be turned into academies, even though parents are voting 4-1 against.
Really?
There seems to be a financialisation of education. We've got CEOs and people taking out millions in a sort of circular motion of owning companies which are doing repairs to schools in Academy Trust, and that was investigated on Panorama by a lady called Bronagh Monroe on BBC last year. Now, it's the tip of the iceberg. It's happening in the NHS as well. One of the big Tory funders, Chris Binodi, who donated 1.7 million to various causes.
Okay. Can I just
Circle Health
Yeah.
health.
Can I just get to really the crux of the point that you're making, which I think, and if I may say, I think you made a very good point about, we know how you voted in the past, how you're going to be voting in the future. And I think that if you just talk about education, my concern is being, frankly, as a constituency MP, is about the amount of money going into my schools in Broxtowe. And I know that the government will say it's a record amount of money that's going in, I'm afraid, and I have said it publicly before I left the Conservative Party, it's not enough. And you ask about universal credit, you will have heard what Heidi Allen said yesterday, and I'm afraid we've got some big problems there as well. So from my point of view, I'm going to keep being true to what my values and principles are, and I shall be judged obviously on my record, and that's how I'm going to vote in the future. Can I just, you obviously got a lot of academies, have you, in Horsham?
My son's head teacher was Jules White, who's led the Worthless campaign, and all of the head teachers. He has been to Downing Street, he's been on the TV. Schools are being underfunded. But I know teachers that are buying pens and textbooks for kids. It is dreadful.
No, I have to say I don't disagree with you. And whilst I have made it clear that I supported what we did in the coalition, I think after the coalition, and especially because of Brexit, we're going to have some real problems now with the underfunding of our public services. So, look, Sean, you're my first. Thank you so very much indeed for ringing in. Today, here we are taking your calls. I am taking your calls. Did I do the right thing yesterday in leaving the Conservative Party? That is the big question that we're asking it. 0345 6060 973. And now I'm going over to Neil. Hi, Neil. What's your point?
Anna, I believe that you are a true democratic MP. So you believe, presumably, in a democracy. So why don't you go back to your electorate and ask them for a true mandate? Because they didn't vote for you as an independent member of Parliament. They voted for you as a Conservative member of Parliament.
Well, can I just say what I said yesterday? My views haven't changed. My values, my principles, the mandate that I believe I had from the good people of Broxtowe has not changed. If it had changed, I think you would make a very good point. The problem is that the Conservative Party has changed. So if you look at the manifesto that we stood on in 2017, I certainly did not stand on our part on the European Union. That's long-standing tradition, actually, in the Tory party. Made it very clear to the people of Broxtowe that I didn't agree with that. Most of that Tory manifesto has been ripped up and thrown away. So I don't think we need a by-election. The only vote I think we should be having is a people's vote. I suspect you won't agree with me on that.
Then you should have a people's vote with your electorate who voted in your constituency to leave the European Union. And you should respect that.
I do respect
it. You're being duplicitous, aren't you? You did stand on the manifesto, on Cameron's manifesto, to hold a referendum.
Yep.
And you agreed that you would support the outcome of that referendum.
I have done.
And you are not. You're out to derail Brexit.
Can I just, Neil?
Madam, people like you disgust me, frankly.
Oh, well, all right.
You disgust me.
All right.
You're being duplicitous, you're being two-faced. And
Right.
if you've got any respect for democracy at all, you will go back to your electorate and ask them
Can I
to
ask,
support
why
you.
do you
But
think
they
I'm
won't.
two-faced?
And you're frightened of that, madam. You're frightened.
Well, I don't think
because
I
they
get
will
frightened.
throw you out.
Right, okay.
Because
Well, look, you're getting
duplicitous,
very angry.
Two-faced woman.
Why am I
I'm very
two-faced?
angry at people like you.
Why?
There's been a democracy.
Why?
The largest democratic thing which has ever happened in this country.
Yeah.
And people like you are trying to derail
Right,
it.
I'm not.
This is appalling.
Can I just say something? I have voted to trigger Article 50. I have voted for the Withdrawal Act. All I'm saying, I'm not trying to stop Brexit. I can't. Only the British people can. All I'm asking is that it goes back to the British people. Why am I two-faced, Neil?
That is your purpose. That is the purpose in doing what you've
people's
done.
vote.
That's what you've done. Let's have a people's vote in your constituency, and they'll chuck you out. And you're frightened about that, and that's why you refuse to go back to them. You've done the dirty on your constituents, haven't you? You've done the dirty.
No,
Politicians like you disgust me, madam.
Oh, no. Right, okay, madam. Right, I think we all understand where you're coming from, Neil. So thank you very much for your call. I don't mind. One thing I'm not actually is a coward. I'm not frightened, and that's why I'm looking forward to your calls. 0345 6060 973. That is the number to call. Whatever your views, did I do the right thing yesterday. Neil obviously thinks that I didn't do the right thing, I think. But he certainly thinks that we should have a by-election in Broxtowe. What do you think? Give us a call, please. 0345 6060 973. And now we are going to go and talk to... Who are we going to talk to next? Somebody from Tooting. Samana, good morning. Samina, I'm so sorry, sorry.
Yeah. Well, Anna, I just wanted to congratulate you, really. That's what I thought. I can't believe the last caller. There's a real big appetite in this group for this independent group in this country. I think there's a lot of people who haven't got a political home at the moment. I think you've kind of re-energised this group, thousands of people who just want some compassion and centre ground. There's millions of people right now, I believe, who haven't got a political home. And I think the politics at the moment is killing this country. And I do believe strongly that our political system does need reform. I don't think it's right that you'll have MPs who can be sit in safe seats, have 25,000 plus majority for 40 odd years. And I just think that this group is probably come at the right time. I would like to hear issues, what the group stands for in terms of education, health, social justice, care. And you were on TV last night. I think you were on Newsnight, and you were saying that, look, we've just started. We need to get our thoughts together, which I do think is right. But I would say to you that the group now needs to start raising its profile at some stage. You need to tell people in the country what you stand for.
Yep. I think
it's really, really important, and I think you'll go up in the polls.
Well, Samima, truly, thank you, because I think that for all of us lot, we do believe that there are many millions of people, actually, who like you, just don't think anybody represents them. If you like, we sort of put in the skeleton together, and then, as you rightly identify, we then got to put the meat on the bones. That is great to hear from him. Thank you so much, and keep in touch with us, please do. And now we're going to go... Sorry, I'm being told to do something. More of your calls coming shortly. I'm Anna Soubry. I'm standing in for the mighty James O'Brien, and the time is 10:15. Hello, my name is Anna Soubry. I'm standing in for James O'Brien, and I'm taking your calls on the question, I think, which a lot of people are genuinely asking themselves today. Were we right to go, or should we, the Tory rebels who left the Tory party yesterday, should we have stayed, or were we right to go? That is the question I'm taking your calls on. 03456060973 is the number. And we're going to Cardiff, to James. James, what do you think?
Hi, Anna.
Morning.
Morning. Anna, I'm a bit confused, really. You say that you're a Democrat. You've left because of your principles. I want to know why you are that frightened that you will not go back to your electorate and stand on your independent, centrist agenda.
Well, that's funny, because we had a call earlier on from somebody saying almost word for word the same thing. You've not been given a script or anything, James, have you?
No, I haven't, Anna. I voted to leave, and I just want to know that you're calling yourself a rebel. You're not a rebel. You're more concerned about your own ego, and the three of you stood
Do you know, it's very strange when all these men call in telling me what I think. I do find that slightly offensive, James, but hey, let me tell you what I think. I think the country made a mistake in voting the way it did in the referendum, but I'm not trying to stop Brexit, because I can't. The only people to stop it are the British people through a people's vote. My values and principles haven't changed. It's the Tory party that's changed. So I'm the same person with the same views that got elected in a general election in 2017. So I don't think we should be a by-election. Oh, he's gone. Hello, John. How's Haywards Heath this morning?
Hello, Anna. Hi. Yeah, fine, thank you. It's great to speak to you.
Thank you.
Firstly, I would like to just say that as somebody who's never voted Conservative, but I do have hopefully a sense of decency, and what happened to you outside the Houses of Parliament was disgraceful, and on behalf of civilised people everywhere, I'm apologising to you, basically.
Right, very kind. But, thanks, lovely.
My question to you is, should David Cameron have called a referendum? Because if we hadn't had that referendum, none of this carnage would have happened.
Well, the thing is we did. It was in a manifesto. We got elected. The truth is we never thought, the Conservatives never thought that we would actually get a majority in 2015. And, what's happened has happened. And frankly, we have to move on, don't we? And we are where we are. I'm not going to blame David Cameron for it. Because
he's cleared off though, hasn't he? He's disappeared off the scene very quickly after.
Oh, he had to go.
He lit the blue touch paper and retired. Really,
I know, but there's a lot of people think that actually a lot of people who led the Leave campaign have cleared off. Actually, he sent us a very kind message yesterday saying please don't go, and I see that he put out a tweet yesterday saying he was very sad that we had left, and I absolutely believe him. I'm very sad he's no longer Prime Minister, but we are where we are. Do you think we did the right thing in leaving yesterday, by the way? Because that is the big question we've been asking this morning.
Absolutely. As I say, my natural... Well, I've always voted Labour, to be honest. But I did what you did a couple of days before you. I left the party. And I'm fully 100% with you guys, be it Chuka Umunna, be it Heidi Allen, be it yourself. I just can't stand with my... the party that I've always voted for 40 years.
And do you think we need something new?
Yes, we do. We do. I mean, I really hope you get a lot more support. I hope you formalise everything, make it real. Make it a viable opportunity. Because people say that we voted. So many percent of the population voted for parties that supported Brexit, but that's because we didn't have any party that didn't. And it was still only 50-50 or 49-51.
48-52. But anyway, go on.
Well,
I know.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, we have to get on now and move on, don't we, with the whole thing. I think I have to move on as well. John, thank you so much for your call. Great to hear from you. Don't forget, the big question is, did we do the right thing? Should we have stayed in the Tory party, or were we right to go? 03456060973. 60973. That is the number to call. Ollie called it. Good morning, Ollie. You're from Bishop's Stortford. What would you like to say?
Yeah, morning, Anna. I'd just like to say pleasure to speak to you. Congratulations as well.
Oh, thank you.
For years I've been sort of following, that sounds a bit creepy, I'm not James Goddard. I've been sort of closely following people like you and Heidi and Sarah in the Tory party. And I'm actually a young voter. I'm only 18, so I've never voted before. And people like you three are basically the only reason that I would have voted Tory. And I think we've all just been, well, not all of my generation, but a large part of my generation has been dying for something a bit different. And I'm just really, really pleased that you formed this new group, really.
Good, thank you for that. There is a lot of talk about young people not being interested in politics. Actually, that's not my experience. If anything, the referendum has really stirred up a lot of thought in a lot of young people who are actually now getting engaged in politics. Is that what you're finding?
Yeah, absolutely. But I also think they were a bit misrepresented, especially in terms of kind of party support. I do get that there is kind of a huge youth swing behind Jeremy Corbyn, and I do sort of understand. It's not something I sympathise with, but I understand it. But I think Jeremy Corbyn's got a real shot coming at the next election because there's two conflicting policies here. Firstly, he's trying to attract all of youth, which is great, and he seems to be fairly good at that. But now, we can now judge him on his Brexit policy, can't we? Which is something which my generation wholeheartedly disagrees with. So at the next election, he's going to be confronted with a very split young vote between, do we choose Jeremy Corbyn or do we stay true to our ideals and vote for a party like, I know not a party yet, but...
Ollie, thank you so much. And when we do get fully up and running, obviously, I'm going to blatantly say to you, we'd love to have you on board. You can check us out on our website, which is available and all the rest of it. Thank you so much for calling in, Ollie. Hi. Now, we are moving on to Vincent. Good morning, Vincent. You're from Broxtowe. Whereabouts do you live?
In Trowell.
Oh, brilliant. How are you?
Fine, thank you. I'd just like to ask you, Anna...
I should say you, of course, are a constituent. Sorry, just so everybody clear about that.
If we had another vote... would you vote to remain or leave?
Oh, I want us to stay in the European Union.
Right. Yeah. So this is the main reason then why you're trying to frustrate Brexit constantly, isn't it?
No, not at all, Vincent. As you know, I voted for us to trigger Article 50 or voted for the Withdrawal Act. I did, as I said, I would do to my constituents, honour the referendum. All I'm asking for now is that it goes back to the British people.
But it shouldn't need to go back to the British people.
And that's why we have a democracy, so we can have this conversation. Tell us why.
The British people knew exactly what they were voting for, and all this about different people have changed their mind is nonsense.
I'm afraid that's not what the polls say.
The polls say that people haven't changed their mind. No, you're just frustrating everything.
It's funny you use that word. Why do you use that word frustrating?
Because
where have you got that from?
Everything that Theresa May has tried to do, you've gone against.
Really?
You weren't included in the cabinet, and I think that made you bitter. You don't.
This is a line I've heard from Leave. You're not a member of UKIP, are you?
No, you don't let anyone talk to you about the fact that you are trying to stop Brexit from happening.
I'm letting you speak. I just don't agree with you.
If you had your way, we would have another vote.
Yes, people's vote.
And if there's another people's vote and they voted to leave, you would still find a reason not to accept.
No, not at all.
That.
No, I'm sorry,
Vincent. If they voted to stay,
Vincent.
If they voted to stay this time,
yes,
would you accept people complaining like you are?
Of course I wouldn't mind. It's a democracy, for goodness sake.
It's not a democracy. You should give people the chance to say whether or not they want you to stay.
Right, well, you've confused the two. Let's just do with the first thing, shall we? So the first point is this. If we have a people's vote and people vote for us to leave the European Union, that's it. We are leaving. End of conversation. Of course, we'll have a debate carrying on because we're a democracy. But if people vote for us to leave, now we know what Brexit looks like, that would be the end of it. Now you say, another argument, which is of course valid because we are a democracy, is I should have a by-election in Broxtowe. I don't agree because my views are just the same views as they were in 2017. Did you vote for me in 2017?
I'm not prepared to tell anybody who I voted for. You left the Conservatives yesterday.
You didn't vote for me, did you?
You left the Conservatives.
You didn't vote
yesterday.
for me in 2017,
I
Vincent.
voted to leave the EU.
You didn't vote for me in the... Sorry, Vincent. I think you're right to have a go at me. I don't mind, but I think you should tell us. I don't think you voted for me in 2017, did you? Did you vote?
Does it matter whether I voted for you or not? The people of Broxtowe voted for you. You were voted in, and now you've changed.
I haven't.
And you've left the Conservative Party,
which you didn't vote for.
Well, it doesn't make any difference whether I did. You've left the Conservative Party, and as far as they're concerned, the best thing you could do, if you're so confident of being independent, is stand with a by-election and see whether they want to keep you.
But
and
my
I
views...
know 100% they would not want to keep you. Everybody is disgusted with what you've done.
That, I have to tell you, my email inbox, I have been amazed at the overwhelming support from my constituents. I also have to tell you, Vincent, I have a lot of people who've contacted me from Broxtowe, and I think of somebody in Trowell, I think 2 people in Trowell who have contacted me specifically to say they would now vote Remain and they voted Leave. And, I think things are changing. They are changing. Anyway, listen, Vincent, thank you very much indeed for your call. Because we are a democracy. And, of course, we all have different views. And it's only right that we have good, robust debate. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's what we're doing this morning. More call for your calls coming up shortly. My name is Anna Soubry. I am indeed the Member of Parliament for Broxtowe. And it's great to hear from my constituents. In particular, I am standing in for James O'Brien. Big, brilliant shoes, very difficult to fill. And now we are going over to the news. And the news is going to be delivered, as ever, quite brilliantly, the headlines with Simon Conway. Morning, everybody. My name is Anna Soubry. I'm standing in for James O'Brien. I'm taking your calls on 0834 6060 973. Was I right to leave the Tory party or was I wrong? What do you think will happen to the Conservative Party? Do you believe that Conservatives are a party, as I do now, for the far right? Do you think the gulf between party members and MPs on the left and the right is that exactly the problem? That in the Labour Party, members or voters are no longer represented by the Labour Party? The same true in the Tory Party. Lots of questions coming out of that, and we want your calls, please. 0345 6060 973 and texts. Right, it's the first time I've done all this. I get the calls bit, but I see we have some texts. Let me just go through some of them. Somebody very sweet said, Sam and Claire, You're a courageous lady, that's kind. Please, can you, independents, now form a political party immediately? That will obviously be the next step. You can then stop the political rot in the UK and unite the politically homeless. Chuka for PM. Oh, sounds like that's a good idea. And me as Home Secretary, well, I'm not so sure about that. Anyway, thank you, Sam and Claire. That's their text. They are from Manchester. Just another one. Dear Mrs. Soubry, you don't seem to realise that the reason you got a majority in 2015 was because you offered a referendum. It was the reason why I voted, and I have never voted UKIP. I'm not quite sure what the connection is, but that's from somebody called Chris in Darlington. He makes a good point. A lot of people did vote Conservative in 2015 because they wanted a referendum. We've had the referendum and we're set to leave the European Union. But the question this morning is, was I right to leave the Tory party, or should we rebels have stayed? The 03456060973 is the number to call. And now we're going over to Robert, who's calling in from Rochester. Morning, Robert. What do you want to say?
Good morning. Well, as a UKIPper, I actually applaud your position for being honourable and standing apart from your former party that you've been a part of for a very long time.
All right, thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Well, I just want to make sure it's clear that majority of people who don't agree with you take your honourable position and accept what you've done. And therefore, obviously, I completely disagree with you when it comes to Brexit and all that sort of stuff. I don't like the use of this far-right stuff that you've just mentioned, because the far-right brings out different connotations. We are not a country that has far-right or even far-left. We have possibly weird socialist beliefs from one side and a strong capitalist momentum, which I can completely understand that. However, yes, I see also the point that people are saying that there needs to be a proper middle ground. And one thing I see missing from the middle ground is anybody that is supporting Brexit but covers your views, if you know what I mean. It's like Liberal Democrats, perfect example. It's a party which I really like, but I don't agree with one issue which they have made their mainstay, which means that I couldn't be a part of that party.
Yeah, can I say, Robert, you're a very interesting political character, because you're a UKIPper because you believe in Brexit, but actually some of your values actually sit with the Lib Dems. Is that what you're saying? Because that's quite interesting. And I have to say, and I want to say this, that in Broxtowe Conservatives, there were people who voted UKIP who are not, as I've said, on the far right. Absolutely. They voted for Brexit, and their views on social justice issues, I suspect like yours, are not what people would think. And actually, you know, whatever happens, wouldn't it be great if we could actually all come back together and have a proper grown-up conversation about politics? And do you think Brexit's actually it's sort of fouled up all of that? Do you think so?
I think basically Westminster itself has done that to itself, because it's taken it as a huge concern rather than going to you parliamentarians and saying, right, how do we implement this? Because obviously you would turn around and tell them that you want to remain, but if I have to come up with some sort of agreement, then you would club together and come up with a coherent option.
I mean, that's what we tried to do. We really did. I mean, I absolutely wanted all of that. Look, Robert, thank you so much for calling. Thank you for your kind words. And it's great that you can actually have a civilised conversation when you don't agree with somebody. Right, and thank you so much for calling in. Right, wait, don't forget the number, 03456060973. Somebody who's called that is Tomo, and he's calling from Victoria. Good morning.
Hi, Anna. How are you?
Go on. I think we've met before. Go on. Tell people why we've met before.
Well, I'm basically, that's what I'm phoning up for. I'm a London taxi driver, and it's a little bit tough out here. So I was hoping that you would buy me breakfast this time.
We got to tell everybody who's listening. This is because I bumped into you in a certain place where you go and buy a coffee and I get a bit of breakfast in the morning, because I have a little flat here in London, which I'm very grateful, because taxpayers pay for that, and that's good of people. But in all seriousness, this wonderful man, Tomo, I now know your name. You ended up buying me breakfast. I think the truth is, I thought I'd paid. And they went, "Oh, you haven't paid." And you said, "I'll pay for you." Anyway, what did you want, apart from my new best friend, Black Cabbie? I love black cabs, actually. Seriously.
Oh, good.
No, I do, actually. I do use you. I do not use it Uber unless somebody else is paying, I have to say, like my daughters. But anyway, quick, what did you want to say, lovely?
Well, first of all...
and thank you for buying me breakfast. I didn't say that. Go on, lovely.
That's fine. Congratulations for doing what you did. It's funny because we had a brief chat and I did say to you that I'm disillusioned with Labour and Conservatives. And I did say to you that I think we need a new party. I think the country's screaming out for a new party. And how ironic that this has happened. But so now it gives someone like myself who are disillusioned with like Labour and Tories something else to think about, which is great. But please, don't confuse people by bringing the Brexit issue into it, please. Let's just get it done and start again. And hopefully you're the middle ground. That's the way I want to go.
I know people are so fed up with Brexit. Christ, I think we're fed up with Brexit, to be honest with you, Tomo, but it's a huge issue. Huge issue. And you know what? If we have a people's vote, are you up for a people's vote? I don't think you are.
No, I just want to get it done now.
Yeah, but a lot of I understand why. It's just that it's so big and it's so complicated. Look, I hope. Look, next time you're in a certain place, breakfast is definitely on me. All right.
Right,
thank you so much, darling. Lovely to chat to you again. Thank you. We're going, lovely man. We're going to John, who's calling from Clapham. Good morning.
Good morning, Anna. Anna, I've been a Conservative all my life, and I'm a member of the party, and I fully respect your position. I don't support it, but I do respect it, and I do understand we can have a civilised conversation about this. What's concerning me is what I have read this morning in the papers, and you may say I shouldn't believe everything I see in the papers, but it's the Telegraph, so I certainly do believe it. What I've seen...
Because they haven't got any agenda, have they? Anyway, go on.
No, I do understand where they are, but obviously. But I do read the Times as well, so we're a little more, perhaps, in the middle. But what I wanted to say to you is this. I've seen two comments. Yourself saying that the Conservative Party is now defunct. And Heidi saying, if we do our jobs right, there won't be a Tory party to go back to. Now, what I don't want to talk about is, oddly enough, is breakfast, but I want to talk about the effect of what you may have done, which is open the door, potentially, to, and I would like to believe that this is something we can all agree on, that we're opening the door, potentially, to a Corbyn government in this way. This is a party, we're talking of the Labour Party, which is institutionally anti-Semitic, whose hard left policies will put us in a position not dissimilar, no doubt, to where Venezuela is. Maybe it's a slight exaggeration, but you understand where I'm coming from.
And I agree with you about your analysis of that.
My concern is that the actions you have taken has made that more likely. And that seems to me an incredibly dangerous thing to do. You know, it is a question of perhaps wondering whether, you know, what you desire may not be the best, the best thing.
If we're to ensure that Jeremy Corbyn does not get into number 10, and I agree with your analysis, you don't do that by fighting elections and winning in any other place than the centre ground. He inhabits the left, the far left, and I'm afraid the party that you and I were both members of until 11 o'clock yesterday morning, I'm no longer a member, is going off to the right, and in that event, who's going to be there in the centre ground to win? And that's what we're all about. John, thank you very much for your call. It was good to hear from you. We're now going to go and talk to Lee. Oh, so sorry. No, somebody's quite rightly said, give this a plug. We want your calls, please. 0345 6060 973. I'm Anna Soubry. I'm standing in for James O'Brien. We're talking about, did we make the right decision yesterday by leaving the Conservative Party, or should we have stayed? So we're going to Michael, who's ringing. Oh, no, we're going for a break. Some would say even better. Good morning. My name is indeed Anna Soubry. I'm standing in for James O'Brien, taking your calls here on LBC 0345 6060 973. Just to kind of catch up on what happened yesterday. So yesterday, three of us, who until 11 o'clock were members of the Conservative Party. All 3 members of Parliament resigned from the Conservative Party. This isn't something that we just decided on a whim and a fancy. Some of us, I think, had been thinking about it for a very long time. And we had become unhappy about the direction of travel of the Conservative Party. Our view was that since 2016, the referendum, then the election of Theresa May as Prime Minister and leader of the Conservative Party, even though she had spoken on becoming Prime Minister on the steps of Downing Street, you might remember that, and she talked about all the great social injustices that still face our country and how she was absolutely determined that she would address them, she would solve them, do everything that she could. Unfortunately, none of that's come about, and we believe, and we may be wrong, and that's why we're so interested to listen to what you have to say about this, that the Conservative Party has moved so far to the right that we no longer feel that we have a home in it. We believe that the right wing has taken over this party within a party called the European Research Group, led by people like Jacob Rees-Mogg and Steve Baker and others. They're actually in charge, and that Theresa May, instead of being the broad church and going out to people like me who'd been the Ken Clarke wing of the Tory party, she was just doing their bidding. And we frankly had enough. And so yesterday we decided to leave, and that was a tough decision. Always is when you leave your political party. But we think we did the right thing. Many people think we did the wrong thing. I was very interested that Philip Hammond, who had been my boss when I was a minister, the first woman minister in defence, Philip Hammond was the Secretary of State for Defence. I was interested to hear what he had to say to Nick Ferrari earlier on LBC.
We're saddened by their decision, but I very much hope that the values that we share in common, and they are very strong, will eventually come to the fore when we've got through the Brexit process, put that behind us, and we've been able to get back to a focus on domestic policy. We will be able to persuade them in due course to come back into the fold.
I don't think that's going to happen, because I have to tell you, I think that Brexit has absolutely fractured British politics, and that includes the Conservative Party. And I know that Philip Hammond wants to, when we leave the European Union, as he would say, somehow it'll all be solved, everything will be fine, and we can get back to the domestic agenda. It isn't going to happen, and I'll tell you why it's not going to happen, because we still haven't worked out what our final trading and security relationship is going to be with the European Union, especially trade. So if you think we're going to be leaving the European Union, that will be the end of the rows will continue, and they'll continue in the Tory party. That's my prediction. Right, what do you think about it? Give us a call, 03456060973. John, from arguably the centre of the universe, from Broxtowe, my constituency, which I have a great honour to represent. John's calling in. Hi, John. Whereabouts are you from in Broxtowe?
Well, Anna, before I go on, because I'm absolutely frustrated, and I'm absolutely, can't even put it into words what you've done.
Well, where do you live in Broxtowe?
Well, I'm not even going to give up my personal information to you, Anna. I'm phoning up because I care for the Conservative Party.
And you live in Broxtowe?
Yes, I do.
Are you a member of Broxtowe Conservatives?
Well, yes, I am.
Are you?
And I'm not going to... What, you don't know every single one of us, do you?
Well, that's really interesting, because I do know all the activists.
On the phone. You're going to give me an interrogation on the phone like you did the other chap earlier on.
No, it's all right. Go on.
You're not going to give me a chance to actually ask a question as you sit there in the limelight.
Yeah.
You've waited for this to happen. You've been frustrated, as you've used the word frustrated. You've used terminology today, such as the far right, then you apologise almost to the other chap who said he supported his liberal views. You say things which are derogatory in the community which you are part of. You say things which are words. You can say they're words, but words are have effect.
What's your question, John?
The question I'm going to ask you, Anna, is you say you're a principled woman, or you make out you're a principled woman, and you wouldn't go back to the Conservative Party. When the vote was done, when the referendum vote happened, you went back straight straight out onto the streets outside the House of Commons and got on a podium and said that you wasn't really happy with the referendum.
No, I wasn't.
You've been stirring it up since then. You believe in democracy, but you don't believe in the vote of 17.5 million people.
Never said that.
No,
I do believe in the vote.
We're sitting here today. You're in the limelight today because you've given an opportunity to talk to the people. You've been running around with your own cohorts for so many months and so many years, listening to them.
I'm trying to listen to you. What's your question?
Well, the question I'm asking you is, you're not a Democrat, are you?
You just keep making these assertions. Ask a question.
I'm asking a question. Don't you be so rude, Anna. You've been rude to all your constituents by doing what you just done. You should have a by-election. You should stand up for what your principles are, and then let the people vote. Talking about a people's vote, you should have a people's vote against you.
Right.
It should be the people in your constituents.
Who is you?
For you.
You.
And voted for you.
Like you
to
did.
Get into. Well, let me ask you this, Anna. You're asking me questions with a question. I'm asking you directly, do you believe in democracy?
Yes.
Okay, so why don't you put it back to the people of your constituents to let them decide whether or not you should be still in power in your position?
Can I answer your question?
That is a question.
Let me now answer the question,
now,
please.
Don't answer me through trickery like you've been talking all morning.
Can I just answer your question?
Carry on.
Can I answer your question?
Yes, answer it.
Right. I don't believe there should be a by-election because my views, my principles, everything that I stood for when I got elected in 2017, the same as 2015, the same as 2010, haven't changed. It's my party that's changed. In fact, it's our party because you're a member of Broxtowe Conservatives, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
But you won't tell us where you live.
Now, can I just say, Anna, before I go...
Have we ever met each other, John? Can I ask a question? Have you and I ever met?
I think we met once.
Right. So
I was with some people.
Right. Was that at a Broxtowe Conservatives do?
Yes,
I don't think have you ever delivered a leaflet for Broxtowe Conservatives?
What has this got to do, Anna, with what I'm asking today? I think you're very insecure with the questioning I'm asking.
No, I'm very relaxed, actually.
With the words of trickery.
Why is it a trick to ask you whether you've ever delivered a leaflet for Broxtowe Conservatives?
I would deliver a leaflet tomorrow with you out, Anna.
So you've never delivered a leaflet for Broxtowe Conservatives? Even in the borough council elections?
You was asking the chap earlier on, is he a member of UKIP? You couldn't answer him. You couldn't answer him whether or not it was right what you were doing, and you wouldn't go back to the people in your local constituents whether or not they should have another vote to get you out or in.
Right.
You're saying you
Did you
believe in
vote
democracy.
for me in? Did you vote for me in the last general election, John?
No, I didn't. Unfortunately,
even though you're a member of Broxtowe Conservatives, you didn't vote for the Conservative candidate.
Who's not genuine. Who doesn't believe in?
Do you know what, John? I don't think
it really
genuine.
Is frustrating.
I really don't.
Early retirement is the best way forward for you.
Really, I don't. I'm afraid I'm really struggling, John. Tell you what, send me an email, and then we can have a conversation the next time I'm in wherever you are in Broxtowe. Let's now talk to Michael. Morning, Michael. How are you?
Good morning. I'm happy.
Very quickly, Michael. I'm really sorry. It's my fault. My fault. I haven't got very long. Go on. What do you want to say?
You can ask me which party I'm a member of. I'm a member of the party called Renew, which obviously we have.
And where do you live? Tell us where you live.
Towton.
And Towton is in?
Broxtowe, where they're going to build the HS2.
I know exactly where you live. And you are a constituent. Anyway, go on. You're a member of Renew. Did I do the right thing yesterday?
Yes, you did. You share values with us. But I became a member of Renew because I've been politically homeless. I think I've been like you. I was One Nation Conservative for a while back in the 90s. I voted Liberal Democrat last time because it was pro-Europe. And the Liberal Democrats have seemed to just drifted off into nowhere without any real direction.
Right. You know what, Michael? I would love to speak to you properly. I shall be in Towton probably this weekend. We should get together. Would you be so good as to send me an email to my MP account? You can just Google it. I'd love to meet you and have a chat. And thank you so much. And thank you for your support, because I think that there are many other people just like you who agree with me that we need to start doing politics differently, and we need to get that centre ground properly re-established. That's one of the things that we are talking about. My name is Anna Soubry. I am standing in for James O'Brien. I'm taking your calls. Yesterday I left the Conservative Party. Did I do the right thing, or did I make a big mistake? Now, should I have stayed? The number is 0345 6060 973. We want your calls. We want to talk about what's happening in British politics. Has it been smashed up and broken up by Brexit? Give us a call. Your views matter, and it's always good to chat to people. Catch you after the news.
On your radio, on your phone, and here.
Play LBC.
Leading Britain's conversation.